support legislation that would support real reporting, such as this SHIELD law I've asked you before, such as other...
We have a Constitution, Ryan, that supports the First Amendment, which allows all Americans, and anyone in this country, frankly, the freedom of expression. We support that full.
The second question. When you say that you're going to try to defeat ISIS and Al-Qaeda, what are you doing to eliminate the abject poverty that is the breeding ground for the terrorists?
As we've mentioned before, his national security team is putting together a holistic solution to defeating ISIS. When that strategy is complete, we'll have something for you on it.
So you said that a back channel is an appropriate part of diplomacy.
I didn't say that. I said that Secretary Kelly and General McMaster have both commented on that.
Can you add more to that? Well, how is it that it's appropriate for someone who's a private citizen, not sworn in as an official of the U.S. government, to conduct any kind of negotiation or diplomacy with a foreign official?
Again, I would just refer you to both the comments that Secretary Kelly, General McMaster have said about how they can be an important tool in diplomacy.
But at the time, there was no one who was close to the president who was working in an official government capacity. How is that appropriate?
Again, I think that both of those individuals who are steeped in national and security and foreign policy have said that that can be an effective tool, generally speaking, in diplomacy. Shannon.
The open channel, by the way, we kind of debunked that the other day. The Kushner was not the one that said that. It was the diplomat from Russia that wanted the open channel. Okay, so there you go. But you can see talking about ISIS. How are you going to do it? You say you're going to defeat them, but what are you doing on poverty? Folks, these terrorists, just FYI, come from middle-class families, okay? Educated. Okay, these are not all buffoons, most of them, and a lot of these people, we don't have, in Syria and in Saudi Arabia and all these other, we're not the ones educating them. A lot of these people come from different places, end up over here, and then the ones that are radicalized, most of them have become middle-class families. They weren't in poverty. They weren't starving. The fathers had jobs. They lived in affluent neighborhoods. They weren't in the ghetto. Poverty had nothing to do with it. Do your research. Boston marathoners, those that set off that bomb detonated, they weren't in poverty. The 9/11 hijackers, they weren't in poverty. Give me a break. They were educated. Bin Laden, the mastermind, was educated here in America. Give me a break. It's amazing how they sit and dagger anything they can possibly do to try to smear this administration. I mean, it's just amazing. But you had to hear it. If you don't have time to listen to these things, but this is what they do. This is their narrative. Anything that they can do. Al Franken. Yeah, he's not Frankenstein. He's Franken. He responds to these the calls to cancel appearance with Kathy Griffin due to her photo shoot controversy, the one with the bloody mask of Donald Trump, of course, went viral, got a lot of people really upset. Everybody was really angry about it. So Senator Al Franken from Minnesota, he was telling CNN this morning that he still plans to appear later this summer with Kathy Griffin, despite the gruesome images that the comedian posted of a replica of President Donald Trump's head with blood, all over it. So basically, the senator says may feel comedian Kathy Griffin went too far with her latest project, but he's refusing to cancel his appearance with her later this summer. Kathy's a friend, and she's a terrific comedian, but this had no business being in our public discourse. Okay, well, thank you for publicly saying something, but you're not distancing yourself. And had this been Obama's head, can you imagine the backlash there? Oh, it's just Donald Trump. Who cares? We hate him. We wish him dead. Well, what was implied? You wish you wish an American president dead? Really? And by the way, You know, there's some people in my life that I don't necessarily like all that much. But I tell you what, somebody has to do something really wrong, really bad for me to capital H A-T-E, hate a person. Now, there's people in history that I hate their behavior, hate what they did, hate what they stood for. Like somebody like Hitler, you hate what the guy did. It was evil in what he did. I don't see Donald Trump being an evil person. There's a lot of evil tyrants in the world, but Donald Trump, maybe he's a little rough and tumble. But the last I looked at our founding fathers, a lot of them were rough and tumble. A lot of them were crusaders. And by the way, when we came over here, we were all about that. Escaping tyranny from England. People need to know their history. You got to know our formation. You got to know the conversation. Jamestown. Read history. Know what the struggles were. I just don't know if we would have the backbone. A lot of us would, but how divided it is now to really just claim our freedom, claim our birthright, so to speak? Or would you just let the Brits just take over and just allow them to collect the taxes and do anything they wanted to do? They wanted to live in your house. You live in Boston, wherever you were. They could have it. Is that what you want? There's too many people that died for our freedoms, folks. Get to know your history. Get to know what struggles we had and what we fought through. A lot of people just don't want to hear those things. No, it's because it's boring. No, there's nothing boring, in my opinion, about American history. My America. What we had to do with the fights, the struggles, the Civil War, the bravery of our presidents and the bravery of our military and what they had to do to endure. To be able to have the rights we have today and just have the arrogance, the divisiveness that comes out, spewed out of the liberal media. It is hateful. It's not respectful to the presidency whatsoever. All right, Kathy Gifford, the comedian. She says she apologizes, and there's behavioral people that will analyze video. This thing is circulated all over the web, and people are weighing in all over the country about Kathy Griffin and this bloody mask of Donald Trump. Donald Trump weighed in on the whole matter. He said, Kathy Griffin should be ashamed of herself. My children, especially my 11-year-old son, Barron, are having a hard time with this sick photo and sick thing that Kathy has done. Yeah, Donald Trump has a young child. He has children, but a young child to be able to see this. And now Kathy, she's sorry. She's just so sorry. Well, here she is with an apology, rolling her eyes.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Kathy Griffin. I sincerely apologize. I am just now seeing the reaction of these images. I'm a comic. I crossed the line. I moved the line, then I cross it. I went way too far. The image is too disturbing. I understand how it offends people. It wasn't funny. I get it. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. I will continue. I asked your forgiveness, taking down the image, going to ask the photographer to take down the image, and I begged for your forgiveness. I went too far. I made a mistake, and I was wrong.
Very wrong. And there's tons of comments. I could read the news feed. You would be just flabbergasted as to what I'm looking at right now. Just deplorable, hateful, sad day in America. If this was Obama, somebody would be going to jail. Somebody's career would actually be over. These are some of the thoughts of Americans across the country. Ted from Chattanooga, Tennessee says, how can we allow them to get away with this? Yeah, well, they were protecting their boy. They're going through detox. DTs, Obama DTs. Their brains are short-circuiting. They don't know what to do. This has become a blood sport. You know, the election's already over, but they're just looking to impeach this guy. They don't want him to do well. They don't want him to succeed. They don't want America to be great. You don't understand, because it's not their America. They live in America. They try to enjoy America. They don't want anything good to happen to it under the Trump administration because it's not progressive ideas. It's not progressive ideas that we have a strong economy. It's not progressive enough to have a strong military or a strong defense, that we take care of our veterans. We take care of the taxes, our health care. This is not progressive ideas, apparently. Progressives don't like these things. I think that the conservative ideas and faith in God and country and all of those things are so distant from these progressives. Is it all progressives? Seems like a good amount of them that associate with this movement. You know, the Nancy Pelosi's. Warren, she's another fruitcake. Harry Reid, I mean, what a moron. But if they don't care to be able to look through their service, their performance, their rhetoric, and their follow-through and what they've done for their state and for their constituents, they don't measure that. They don't talk about it. They don't care about it. Forget about even bringing up the failures, the dismal failures of 8 years of bad diplomacy under Barack Hussein Obama, which I'd like to call insane Obama. I think he was really trying to hurt our country. I really do. By these bad policies, because economically, he hurt the hell out of so many working Americans, people just trying to pay their bills with just bureaucratic crap, red tape that we've never seen before, and rubbing it in people's noses, and prancing this global initiative, this for global warming and all this crap that Al Gore started spewing in the 90s, which is a bunch of crap because NASA has, I've told you before, go to their website, you'll see it. It's garbage. It's been debunked by the world's scientists. Stuff is not melting. Yes, there's storms, and there's going to be storms, and there's going to be earthquakes, hurricanes. This has been happening for millions of years on planet Earth, and it's going to survive. Now, Hawkins, that guy in the wheelchair, that smart guy, was he an astrophysicist? A smart guy. He says what's going to kill us is depleting the materials of the Earth, and within 100 years, he predicts, we can't figure things out, that we're going to not have enough to feed the world's population, the billions of people around the planet. Now, there's something that I can actually chew on. That's something that, you know, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people on the planet, a lot of mouths to feed, and I don't know how many turns you can do to the soil unless you cook up some synthetic soil or you come up with a new approach on becoming an agriculturist that can come up with some neat ways. Because I know that with some farmers, they'll do one crop and then, you know, for 2-3 seasons, they'll switch it out to something else so they don't really destroy the effectiveness of the soil. And I don't know all the scientific stuff with the nutrients and the vitamins and all that stuff that is in the ground, but you know they are a lot smarter. But the Earth is very populated. He may be onto something. But what are we going to do with another planet? Habitable planet Mars doesn't look too habitable. I mean, we could adapt, I guess, but we're going to be living indoor. I don't see a lot of people enjoying the outdoor weather. You hardly have an atmosphere, so to speak. A lot of wind. And I guess it just permanently looks like the desert Southwest, but a little foggy. You don't quite get the sunsets and all that stuff. It's just, it's the red planet. Like living on the planet Krypton. Wasn't it red? where Superman came from?